Welcome to Sound Waves. I'm Ian, a longtime fan of the Transformers and its various fictions. You can find me posting hobby content online at @AnotherTimeTF.
And I'm Lexi, Ian's girlfriend and a newcomer to the Transformers fandom, with no previous knowledge of the story behind the bots.
On this podcast, we tackle the Transformers comic book history in roughly publishing order. On this episode, we move through the final issues of Year 1 of the US book, covering 9 through 13, published July through October 1985.
Should we mention that we've been on a break for a little bit? Been like a month or more. Hope you all had a happy holiday.
Okay, should I say something? You want to say something?
Nope, I've already said it, and that's what we're going to use.
Okay, we're here a little bit. We're here after a slight delay with the winter holidays. Hope you all had a very merry season.
Happy holiday. As they say on Cybertron. I don't know. Do they have holidays on Cybertron?
Next episode, we'll tackle a very Transformers Christmas, a bit out of season. But today, we're tackling some issues that we will summarize now. Issue number 9, Disintegrated Circuits. Story by series writer Bob Budiansky with Mike by Mike Manley. Issue number 9, Disintegrated Circuits. Story by series writer Bob Budiansky with art by Mike Manley. Inks notably by M. Hands, an anonymous credit for many hands, indicating some sort of production crunch on the inking. Circuit Breaker makes her debut as Jazz brokers a deal with oil magnate GB Blackrock, keeping the Autobots fed and fueled, loose and lubed. Circuit Breaker dispatches both Blackrock's new weapon in an act of sabotage, angling for his backing as a general robot killer, and the Autobots and Decepticons at the scene. Despite being the only party in the battle uninjured, and being unable to process the difference between friend and foe, she's the only one who's truly lost.
Issue number 10, The Next Best Thing to Being There. Writing by Budiansky and art by Ricardo Villamonte. Villamonte? Question mark. Huffer attempts to reach Cybertron, ignoring more pertinent duties given to him by Interim Commander Prowl. Meanwhile, Shockwave completes the Constructicons, using the last vestiges of Optimus Prime's creation matrix, sending them and Soundwave out to fashion an interstellar satellite and contact homeworld forces. The Autobots are forced to do battle with the Constructicons' combined form of Devastator, while Huffer dispatches the satellite with the help of a local human trucker caught up in the mix who, like Huffer, just wants to go home. While his new friend can get back to his family, however, Huffer suffers from mixed feelings over sacrificing their only chance to contact their original planet.
Number 11, Brainstorm, written by Budiansky with art by Herb Trimp. Buster Witwicky grapples with how to break the news to his father that he's only able to repair cars thanks to the mysterious power Optimus Prime bestowed upon him. Unbeknownst to him, the Autobots' creation matrix. Tapping into a bug in the aerospace plant, the Autobots realize Buster must be in possession of the sacred code. Shockwave has also cottoned on to the fact that the matrix is missing, sending his newly constructed Decepticon drone, Jetfire, off to kidnap Buster after trailing 2 worried Autobots to the boy. Buster, fresh off of making up with his girlfriend Josie, is forced to reveal his powers to his father to dismantle Jetfire when it closes in for the attack. Reconstructing and reprogramming the automaton will give them the opportunity to turn the tide against Shockwave. Sparkplug gives his son his blessing to do what he feels is right, even if it means getting further involved with the Autobots.
Or like making out with his girlfriend, Josie.
Oh! What is kissing?
I will get into that later. I mean, I'll have a question about that.
Okay.
I have a question for you about that.
Lexi, what is kissing?
Issue number 12, Prime Time. Once again, written by Budiansky and art by Herb Trimp. Buster plans to take Jetfire back to an unsuspecting Shockwave, but is intercepted by the U.S. Air Force and knocked unconscious during Jetfire's aerodynamic escape. The non-living bot reverts to its original programming and delivers Buster to Shockwave as planned. Meanwhile, Shockwave has used his knowledge of the Autobots' bug to lure them into a trap, sending them towards a swamp where he disposes of a fake Optimus Prime head, reattached to its body by the Autobots, only to begin laying waste to their forces, aided by Soundwave and other Decepticons. Just as all seems lost, Buster reawakens, asserts control over Jetfire once again, and knocks Shockwave out cold. The development allows Jetfire to deliver the real Optimus Prime's head to the battle, where, reattached to its body, it turns the tide against the Decepticons. Shockwave arrives and is tossed into the marsh after a one-on-one battle with Prime, who neglects to finish his foe after hearing that Buster is still at the mercy of Decepticon machinery at their base. Shockwave sinks into the murk as Optimus rushes off to save his friend. Thankfully, Buster has been freed by workers at the plant. He returns the Matrix to Optimus, as Optimus regrets that he has endangered even one human being through the Transformers' presence on Earth. Though victorious, the battle has also not been without casualties for the Autobots.
Number 13, Shooting Star, written by Badiansky with art by Don Perlin. Joey Slick, a low-level crook, finds Megatron discarded in a storm drain, confined to his gun mode, using the damaged Decepticon leader to blast away pursuers who have come to shake him down. Feeling down on his luck and still targeted by the mob boss he owes, Joey spurns the goodwill of the community members around him and begins a crime spree with Megatron's firepower, having learned of the gun's origins as well as the fact that in its damaged state, Megatron can only respond to orders given to him. Finding the hard life can't bring happiness, and discouraged by the money-hungry entourage his infamy has brought him, Slick breaks into the estate of his former mob boss, blasting his way past his henchmen to pay back the money he owes, planning to renounce his life of crime and go straight. In the action, Megatron is knocked back to his senses. The Decepticon leader transforms, but admiring the human's chutzpah, decides to spare him rather than taking his life. Questioned by the police about the giant robot retreating into the hills, Joey comments that it's something that just wasn't his style. Why did I write chutzpah?
I don't know, Ian.
Okay, should we jump into our issues?
The issues I have with you are...
What are the issues you're having today, Lexi? I'm having issue number 9, Disintegrated Circuits.
Ooh, yum, yum, yum.
From the House of Ideas in 1985.
Wow. I have a question right off the bat.
Yes.
Is it sponsored by Goodyear? Because there is a Goodyear logo, although it's not completely there, so I guess they can get away with it.
It's partially obscured. I am going to say that this is not a Goodyear sponsorship.
Damn. So close.
I'm going to say that this was, indeed not a Goodyear sponsorship.
It was a bad year.
And it only gets worse.
Happy New Year, everybody. This is good content.
This is good content. It only gets worse as I was going to say go to the hospital. That doesn't really matter. So we open on Blackrock driving his race car, as he does, not tending to business. And after a short trip to the hospital to check in with Josie, we meet our restored and revived Autobots.
I like how Jazz has started to embrace all of the human culture and really loves Madonna. That's a super fun moment from him.
Well, so Jazz spends this issue, a bulk of the issue, kidnapping GB Blackrock and forcing him to exchange fuel for safety.
Fun.
So yeah, taken in part with the UK issues with Man of Iron, Jazz just has a track record of kidnapping individuals in car form. He
does, doesn't he? I didn't put that together, but you're right.
Well, they're kind of going for a thing now where his main personality gimmick is supposed to be he's the one who's really into Earth culture and he's getting into their music. But his actual personality, if you're reading both halves of the book, is that he loves kidnapping people.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Loves to steal you from your home.
I do like that we're having someone attempt to make those connections, and it plays into the very, very relative here, but the relatively grounded proceedings, and that their need for fuel has been a consistent element from page 1 of the book, and this is where they're finally solving that and getting a constant supply, so we no longer have to worry about them refueling for action.
And we get the cake is fuel line, which I like also.
Yes.
None of my input is helpful right now.
Well, let's just tackle this thematically. So we don't necessarily need to go in order for these. They're pretty interwoven. We have a couple of character spotlights in here we should get into. But Lexi, let's talk about Transformer brains, because that comes up early in issue 9, where Shockwave presents the newly enlivened brain casings for what turn out to be the Constructicons.
Right. I want to know a bit more about how their brains work and how their souls work and how they are different, like how those are different from each other. Yeah, it seems like obviously the creation matrix, with that, you can give life to Transformers, but it's more than just life as in the Transformer can move around, it's giving them like a soul, correct?
So we have a number of things established or not established about Transformers' brains over this set of issues. Are you ready? I'm going to go through them.
Mm-hmm.
So number 1, they have a brain module, which is a physical object.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, to be sentient or fully alive, they need the creation matrix.
Right.
Number 3, even if they don't have that, they can still be programmed to act as a drone and make semi-autonomous decisions to enact their programming.
Okay, I'm not necessarily confused, but okay, so that's the differentiation. There can be drones or machines that move around that are technically alive and mobile, but they don't have souls, like they aren't activated, as it were, by the creation matrix.
Well, number 4, sometimes even if they are fully sentient and alive, if they're hit the wrong way, they can be reverted into an automaton state where they can respond coherently, but only act directly upon orders given to them.
That is weird. That one I still don't get.
Any questions?
None. Let's move on.
All right. So we know a lot about Transformer brains. It raises a lot of questions. So we're back at the arc. We have a new team structure or command structure. We have Prowl, the police car second in command, although at one point Ratchet speaks to himself with an art error and declares that he's in command. Not really established with a lot of character, though, other than being the one who is apparently in charge when Optimus is not around.
I still have yet to really connect with a lot of them besides Ratchet and Jazz. So yeah, I don't know. I'm waiting for more to grow on me.
Yeah, I that was sort of what I wanted to get at. So even though the group is back here, they're as a group less established than we were allowed to be with Ratchet over the previous few issues. And we sort of have Jazz getting a personality at this point as well. And then we have a Huffer spotlight coming up. But yeah, still waiting for more of the group to be fleshed out. And I think that's something that we get into more in year 2 of the book, which is why I slightly prefer it to year 1. We do have Starscream coming back into the fore as well with his just second, really, in the US book, attempt at some underhanded scheming.
Yeah, just a couple panels of him talking about stealing command from Shockwave and destroying him.
Yeah, his plan is to get the new weapon that GB Blackrock will be unveiling, to use the attack on humans as a morale booster, and also hopefully to secure the weapon for himself to use against Shockwave to secure command. But little comes of that because we now have Circuit Breaker on the scene.
Optimus is starting to tackle with the fact that he has endangered Buster by giving him the creation matrix, and I just am wondering how that didn't occur to him before. I guess he was desperate. It was a moment of, intense stress and desperation from him, so...
Yeah, he's a busy guy. He's under a lot of stress.
He's just ahead.
He's just trying to get ahead. But yeah, there is a little mini arc here, I guess. It's very lightly drawn, but for Optimus, where this opening arc, or the first year of the book, ends on him being more resolute on, the idea that they shouldn't be endangering humans with their presence. But yeah, absolutely, he's putting Buster in quite a bit of danger by giving the code to him. And it does seem like something that would have been an issue earlier on.
Something that I thought was kind of hilarious was, why did Josie bother wearing like a fedora and a trench coat if she was just going to reveal herself to her boss, being like, hey, here's my circuitry / I'm nearly naked.
Yeah, we talked about how awful her costume is last time. And although it is given a justification in fiction where it's this mesh that's, attached directly to her nervous system, there's no reason metafictionally that couldn't have been a full jumpsuit or some sort of costume element.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that doesn't quite track, doesn't quite fly.
Also, I'm just wondering, why did she take it off? Why did she take off the trench coat? Like, why couldn't she just have kept that on and been like, yep, I can walk now because here's a little peek. You can see the circuit stuff underneath, but I'm not going to, strip in front of you, my boss.
Yeah, that seems unnecessary.
Right?
If she can wear the coat, why doesn't she always wear the coat?
Why doesn't she wear the coat? It was just for the dramatic reveal. It's all about the drama, and I respect that. I get it. But at the same time, I don't.
Yeah, otherwise the main thrust of this issue is her attack on both Autobots and Decepticons at the Raceway, right after GB Blackrock has made friends with the Autobots or been coerced into friendship by our group kidnapper, Jazz.
I was going to say, it's a forceful friendship.
But yeah, it tries to end on a note of trying to assess the situation more and having more understanding for both sides. But here's my question for you. Is she wrong?
Is Josie wrong?
Is Josie wrong?
Yeah.
Number 10. Let's move right on through the Huffer Spotlight issue.
Yes. Wait, there was a humor beat that we missed in the last one that I wanted to mention. I laughed out loud because it wasn't an intentional humor beat, I don't think. It was when GB Blackrock is in Jazz. I was going to say in the car with Jazz. He's in Jazz.
He's inside Jazz.
He's inside Jazz. And they fall off the cliff and Jazz transforms and catches him.
Mm-hmm.
And then his line is just, "You really are a robot," with no punctuation. He's just like, it just hit me really.
And what a robot.
Yeah, it just hit my funny bone because it just, in my brain, it just was like, "Oh, you really are a robot." Just deadpan.
That would be my
Anyway.
reaction too if I were just tossed out of a falling car and
Right.
caught in a giant robot's hands. I'd say,
Naturally.
oh, you really are a robot.
Not screaming, but yeah, just acknowledging his robotness.
That calm, cool, collected attitude is what gets business results.
True.
But issue number 10, we have the debut of the Constructicons. Do you think this would be more of a showcase for them from sort of a toy shilling angle? But they have actually a very minor role, and this is our Huffer Spotlight issue.
Huffer Spotlight. We love to see him. We do get more of that info that I wanted about how Transformers are created. Shockwave tells us a little bit about how each of them are made, and they get encoded with functions where their beings and their reason for being are stamped into them. So I guess we don't get too many details. We just get some fluffy explanation.
Kind of, although there's a lot to dive into here. And actually, before we move on into that, I just want to comment that we do get our confirmation about Sunstreaker's state here. So Sunstreaker, albeit miscolored, was dismantled and bisected by Shockwave. And he's the only one in the original group who has not been repaired, and they're wondering if he can ever be repaired. But the brain element actually raises a lot of questions. So I guess we do have more to say about brains. So they're encoded with their purpose and function, and as soon as they're activated, they get given sentience by the creation matrix. And then they immediately know that they're Decepticons, that they are meant to go build things as a unit, and they seem to be sort of born with this mission in mind.
Mm-hmm.
What do we make of this?
Yeah, I was very confused by that in terms of how do they process themselves? Yeah, how do they see themselves? And also another question, very important, who names them? Like, where do they get their names from?
It appears Shockwave named them, but is that something where that's inherent into their initial programming as well? They just know what their names are?
Right. And my thing is like, if somebody else has to input every Transformer's data, like where does their personality come from? Where does their drive, their own oneness come from? Like their uniqueness.
So we know the Matrix is essential for sentience, and we see, because we have Jetfire, who is an automaton who can act on orders but doesn't really have any personality of his own. So you're asking about their characterization and personality. I would assume, based on what we're given, that that is what the Matrix instills.
Okay.
So maybe their functions, but then it says they're encoded with their functions and basic missions. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming, this is just my read, this is very ambiguous here, but that they're given a base function and mission and drive and like a person, they know they're part of this cause, but some of the finer points of their personality is maybe more arbitrary and encoded with the Matrix.
Okay. I understand. I'm picturing it right now as like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but for Transformers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And their base level is like the functionality, the data that gets input into them.
Yeah.
And then their highest tier is the creation matrix, self-actualization bit.
I guess we should talk about Huffer now.
Oh yeah, let's talk about Huffer. Beyond the dump truck ass.
Yeah, so they yearn, Lexi, they yearn.
They yearn for the mines.
They yearn for the mines. They yearn to go home.
Yeah.
So, number one, we learned that Huffer is a communications officer.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that before.
But he's on the radio, and he really wants to... He's ignoring his assigned duty of tapping into communications from the Decepticons to try to establish a link with Cybertron. And he's just homesick.
Yeah, it's a feeling we can all relate to, I think, at one point or another in our lives. Merry Christmas. I'll be home for Christmas. I have a question.
Yes.
Do they know if Cybertron is still even there?
No, that's a good question. And I think maybe you could say that's part of the impetus to try to establish contact at this point. So,
Fair.
yeah, it's been 4 million years. So it seems like a big assumption to assume it's there. And actually, I
Yeah.
think in the opening issue, Megatron or someone comments if Cybertron is still there. Well, like, did someone comments on maybe not knowing if it even still exists?
I mean, yeah, to be fair to Huffer here, like, of course, there are more pressing, immediate matters at hand, but I think one of their main drives should be to check in with Cybertron, right? Like, you would think so.
Yeah, so I'm personally not a big fan of the 4 million year time frame because it's such an enormous gap, and it causes sort of a lot of issues when we have to connect to Cybertron again afterward.
Yeah.
Granted, they seem to live for basically forever unless killed, but
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot to wrap your head around. But yeah, we don't know what's going on with Cybertron at this point, or what has happened in the intervening 4 million years.
Okay. Color me curious.
Okay. But yeah, this issue is mostly, despite introducing the Decepticons and many moral questions about the nature and nurture of Transformers, it's one of our first US book little human interaction spotlight issues. Kind of akin to the Ratchet issues, but for Huffer, and sort of a one and done here in 22 pages. But we get a little friendship between Huffer and a homesick trucker who
Bomber Bill.
Bomber Bill.
I'm a Bomber Bill stan now.
Wow. Yeah, this is the type of issue I really like in the series, and this is something it starts to do a lot more moving forward. I think this is one of the lesser ones for me on that front in that genre, but this is Budiansky's bread and butter. He loves doing these one-off quirky human interaction spotlight issues.
I do like that as well. Because it just shows how vast the world is and how there are people the people who are being affected by what's going on aren't just numbers or random. I mean, they are random people, but they have lives, they have, things they want to fulfill. And Bomber Bill is just a wonderful, beautiful specimen to show that.
He's incredibly muscular for someone who's on the road all the time.
And there's a couple drawings of him where he looks like the Hulk almost. Like, look at this. He's just standing and looking at the distance.
Yeah, he is very hulking. I don't know how he stays in such good shape being on the road all the time and eating diner food.
Yeah, although he is drawn sometimes with a gut, but
It's all muscle.
It's all muscle. It's all abs under there, baby.
I really like the human spotlight issues. Some people, I think, especially these weren't probably super popular ones with kids at the time because it's not very exciting getting these little spotlights, but I really like that. And it does add a groundedness to stakes, and especially as the story expands in scope going on, it lets you know that there is a real a stake. Like there are people who are caught up in this, and it feels like it's what I like about like kaiju movies, like monster movies, where the plots I really like in those are these larger forces seen through a human lens, or those forces creating or solving problems for humans, and that interaction. And I think that is a mode of storytelling that I really like in this kind of fiction.
I also like that the Constructicons, like one of their main gimmicks is that they can combine into Devastator, but that apparently they don't work too good as Devastator.
Yeah, he's just not very good. And also, we don't really know how this works. It's just something that they can do that no other Transformer can do at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, we end this issue on kind of a somber moment from Huffer again, just talking about how they were forced to destroy the satellite that could have been used to contact their home planet. And he's like, Bomber Bill, you can go home, so we're not quite the same because I can't. And it's like his dark face.
Yeah, what a sassy bitch. He's like, you can go home, whatever, good for you. I can't.
And yeah, it's if I were Bomber Bill, I'd be like, okay, buddy, sorry.
No, they have a heart-to-heart before that, and then it's this somber little moment for him where he's like, oh, we're not quite the same. You can go home, and I can't.
Yeah, no, it is touching. It's pretty sad. It gives me some Doctor Who vibes as well, where they're not the last of their race. Well, they don't know that, but they're separated from home, and yeah, they're just trying to make it in this crazy world.
Yeah. This does also keep on the string. I mentioned it last time that the book really resists upbeat endings.
Yeah.
From this point until it ends, basically. But the number 9, the Josie issue, ends with that downbeat ending of sort of lamenting her loss of perspective. And then this one also, even though they saved the day more or less, we're still notified that Soundwave's message partially got out. It ends on this somber downbeat note from Huffer, and then the final thing is a cliffhanger with Shockwave preparing to dispose of Optimus, and GB Blackrock and Prowl being at a loss for what to do, and some purple prose related to that. So it does not let you have a final page with a happy ending.
Yeah, I like that choice, especially for a kids comic. It's an interesting choice, but I'm glad they did it.
I do too, and part of it is just the nature of doing cliffhangers, right?
But that's true.
But it's not just that. They really go out of their way to do a somber downbeat note before the cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we didn't mention the phone tapping.
Oh yeah, I did write a note. GB Blackrock is low-key spying on all of his employees.
For the purposes of moving the plot along, GB Blackrock, to keep tabs on any quote-unquote suspicious activities at his plant, has the phones bugged, and not just bugged when in use, they're just bugged, and he can tap into them and listen in at any time.
At any time. So that's a little upsetting if I were an employee of his.
Seems like a workplace lawsuit waiting to happen.
Definitely.
Lexi.
Yes.
Jetfire soars supreme.
Wow. I love him and his character that exists.
What are we to do about this?
Probably dismantle him, I guess.
We're on to number 11, where we've got an automaton, a lifeless transformer. We've already got at all of the questions this raises, but he's programmed only to seek and apprehend Buster. Well, actually, a lot happens, right? This is the resolution of the whole Buster Matrix conflict, like emotional conflict with whether to tell his dad that he has these powers. But what I really want to talk about is
how they see.
Is how they see.
Is how the Transformers see the world around them.
So this is a little bit of subtle horror, I think, if this applies to all of them.
This whole scene was straight up horror, in my opinion. First of all, Shockwave is like, this is going to hurt a little bit, and shoves his arm into the head of Frenzy.
This is Frenzy.
And Frenzy's just like, ah!
Yeah, and so...
Horror.
Yeah, he's trying to assess what has happened to the Matrix, and Frenzy was on guard at the arc when Buster snuck aboard earlier, so he's seeing if Frenzy has seen anyone sneak aboard. And he hooks into his optic circuitry, and we get a visual layout of what he's seen, and he didn't notice Buster because he only sees in this like little pixel art grid where humans barely register as a series of dots, and that's horrifying. Like no wonder the Decepticons don't see other species as people.
Oh, this is also, we were wrong. This isn't Frenzy, this is Rumble.
This is Rumble?
Yeah, this is Rumble.
Oh no. Oh, I don't even want to get into why I made that mistake.
Okay, but yeah, going back to the main issue at hand, do all Transformers see in this, like, highly pixelated, very rudimentary grid or not? Like, because it seems like Shockwave can at least enhance the vision to see what's going on. And he mentions that specifically Rumble's optical circuitry is incapable of distinguishing smaller objects. So I guess we're to make that, like, the runts or the grunts of the Transformer world can't see very well, but who's to know for sure?
Yeah. I guess the implication is, some can see better than others, but how many of them see like this? That's quite frightening for how they interact with the world and other species.
Yeah, no wonder, like you said, no wonder they don't care about humans because they can't see them.
Yeah, some subtle horror there, I think.
A little bit. Yeah, definitely a shocking moment. The next thing that stood out to me in this issue was, first of all, Buster's face. He's got some creepy faces. But then also, after he and Jessie are biking to some quarry or waterfall, and his dad and Bumblebee and who else?
Oh, Blue Streak, minor character.
Oh, and another Autobot, Blue Streak.
He talks a lot. That's all we know about him.
That's right. Catch up to them to try to protect Buster. And Jessie and Buster were kissing, sharing a kiss after they, made up after a fight they had had in a previous issue. And Blue Streak says, now, I don't mean to pry, Buster, but could you explain to me the action you and your human friend were engaged in? So they don't kiss, which is sad. Transformers don't kiss.
They don't see organics.
They don't.
They don't kiss. And they're born to die in war.
Yeah, it's a pretty sad existence.
What a horrible species.
Do they hold hands? Do they hug? Are their metal parts too sharp and hurtful?
I don't know. Some of them have odd proportions and carbits on them, so they can't even hug very well.
That's so sad.
Now, Lexi, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Hot topic. Should Transformers kiss?
No, their mouths are weird.
Their mouths are weird. Oh, well, yeah, we do know their mouths are weird. So yeah, this is our last bit of Sparkplug for quite a while. Minor spoiler, but just for expectation setting. I like that he has maintained his animosity toward the Autobots.
Yeah.
Again, it's resisting this sort of easy human friendship thing. He doesn't want to talk to Bumblebee when he comes to his house. He's fed up with them. And his primary goal is to keep them away from Buster if he can.
Yeah. That feels important. Yeah, that I think is a good choice for him to maintain that. Because they do cause issues everywhere they go, even if they don't mean to.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's something the book is really doubling down on. But he does give his blessing to do whatever Buster feels is the right thing in this situation, so they get their resolution to this simmering arc that they've been having.
Now I have a question. Was Jetfire, was he a toy?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Would you like to know more about him?
Does he get his spark later?
Yes. Well, yeah, sorry, I'm giving you a prediction there, but yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yeah, he is a character who will stick around. And his toy has an interesting story to it where he was, Macross?
Yeah.
He was a Macross.
Oh, no way.
And he was ported over for the US toy line when they were doing this grab bag of Japanese molds to start the line. He was a licensing nightmare because the Macross brand was still going in Japan. So when they reverse imported Transformers, they couldn't use him in Japan.
Oh.
So there's a lot of international weirdness with the Jetfire toy. And it's really... I want to say it's never been reissued, but I might have to double check that. But it's really cumbersome to do reissues of that because of all the weird licensing, because it was Macross and that continued in one of the major regions for Transformers, and I think other ones as well.
Interesting.
So, yeah, Jetfire is a very fraught toy. So they've made later Jetfires, that's no problem. But that original mold
was a Macross.
And yeah, created a lot of issues. And he's just a Macross 1-to-1. I think he has some insignia that go with him, but that's the only addition.
Why did they choose to do that?
It was just a cool mold they could get. They were out to get any Japanese transforming toy molds, and for whatever reason, they were able to get that. I don't know all the licensing details for this.
Right.
It wasn't one of the main lines they were taking from, but they were able to get that one Macross mold for at least U.S. territories, maybe some other ones as well. And it just created issues moving forward.
Fascinating.
Yep.
Issue 12, Optimus Prime Autobot Killer, famously known.
I do like this cover a lot. It's a good shock cover.
It is, yeah.
So we start with Buster being taken to Shockwave because he's knocked unconscious during flight. I don't know that I actually have a lot to add beyond the basic summary of this issue. This is just wrapping up the first 12 issues, which is basically the first year of plot for the comic.
I have a question.
Yes.
How do Transformers sweat?
Oh, right. Because we have a little mini arc of this. Is this one Rumble now, or is this Frenzy?
This is Rumble still.
It's still Rumble. Okay, Rumble and Shockwave have this arc where Rumble is increasingly nervous around Shockwave and keeps fouling up his guard duty and various other tasks. And yeah, he's sweating, and Shockwave actually comments on him leaking some sort of lubricant.
I just thought that was a funny moment. It's probably just a throwaway joke, but then I started thinking about their bodily functions to my horror. No, I was just curious if that comes up again or if they cry. That made me wonder.
Yeah, it depends on the artist, but the answer is yes. At some point, they do basically everything.
Okay. I like how when Jetfire comes back, he's just kind of got this smug little smile on his face, like, I did a good job. Like,
handing over the boy.
Yeah, I don't know. Because he doesn't have his own, like, sentience or his own will, I guess. He just seems like a little, I don't know, not pet, but I don't know. I think he's kind of cute in this moment.
He's got little grins here and there. He's just happy to be doing a good job, I guess.
Yeah, so I guess he feels emotion, but he doesn't have his own mind.
He feels emotion, but he doesn't have it.
He doesn't have it. doesn't know how to process it, you know?
Yeah, Optimus gets reattached to his body and lays waste to most of the Decepticons in a largely summarized fight, and throws down the Shockwave one-on-one so we can end out the first year of the book. But this is basically the end of the plot that has been going from really continuously from number 1 of the
Yeah.
US book, because that was the opening mini, had Shockwave showing up at the end in a cliffhanger, and everything since has been dealing with getting the Autobots back into action and getting Optimus Prime back the first 12 issues, the first whole year of the book. So this is when everything kind of wraps up on that front and is able to return to a sort of status quo.
Yeah, wow. And Buster gets rid of gives back the creation matrix to Optimus. So I'm assuming we won't be seeing too much of him anymore.
Yeah, so this is also the exit largely of the Witwikis from the book as main characters. This isn't the last we'll ever see of them, but they are no longer the focal humans moving forward. And yeah, they're out of the US book for quite a while. Minor spoilers, we're going to see a little bit more of them in some UK stories just to fill gaps. But yeah, this is their fanfare, their finale for the bulk of the US book.
Okay. Bye-bye, Buster.
Yeah, and I think it's a positive for the book because Buster and Sparkplug have their own little arcs, and I don't mind them, but I am a big fan of the one-off human interaction spotlights, and their absence leaves room for a lot more of those.
Yeah, I agree. I think those other one-offs are more fun and give them room to, experience a variety of different people and lives. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so we get our first one of those in our final issue for this session. I wanted to pepper this in at the end to get us into year 2 of the book, and because it's positive for story break purposes, Megatron's little human spotlight went off.
Yeah, this was fun. This was an interesting little story.
Yeah, I think this is my favorite of this batch of issues.
It's weird. It's, as they say, as the writer said, it's the weirdest Transformers story yet.
Oh yeah, the most offbeat Transformers tale yet. I guess just in the sense that it has no Autobots and no Transformers at all besides Megatron.
Right. I would say probably that UK issue was the most offbeat.
Oh, Man of Iron?
Transformers.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But this one is a close second.
Well, I think for me, for this, just as a little aside here, but speaking of the UK book, we noted that those early spotlights, the first couple of the first couple of UK stories, so that the Brawn one and the Wind Charger one, I think my takeaway was that they didn't really work very well as spotlights. We didn't really have an arc for the characters.
Yeah.
And I was sort of comparing it to what the US book starts doing around here. So for me, something like the Huffer issue and then this Megatron issue are those single issue, single Transformer spotlights that I think work a lot better at giving us a more coherent arc within the span of 22 pages.
Do you think Megatron is compelled and compels evil just naturally?
I think guns do that.
I was going to say, I think you can definitely read this as like not even a metaphor, just a straight up warning tale for the dangers of guns, as it takes this man who is, like a lowbrow henchman type person. So he's not really doing good stuff right now. He's doing crime, but it takes him he's relatively like a good guy. He's just trying to make ends meet. And with the gun, he starts robbing people. He starts, making a name for himself, but in a really bad way. Becomes very famous as a gold robber and a bank robber.
Yeah, and he even comments when he gets Megatron, he's thinking, oh, what am I going to do with a gun? So it means that the issue is going out of its way to attack his changes directly onto having a gun.
Yeah.
So I think, to answer your question, does Megatron compel people to do evil? No, but I think having a tool to do violence does. And in that case, and in our society, that's a gun.
When Megatron originally transformed into the gun form and fell into the snow, I was picturing him much bigger, like not losing mass, because he has to become very small to be held by a human as a regular gun. So what's going on there?
Yeah, so he just shrinks. Well,
okay.
Soundwave does the same thing. We've seen this. They shrink to hop into the plane mode.
Oh, that's true.
Occasionally, they just shrink.
Honey, I Shrunk the Megatron.
Yeah, IDW they have a gun Megatron as well, and they bothered to explain it with a mass displacement function that has other drawbacks. So you can have sci-fi explanations for this, but he just shrinks.
Okay, that's fine. I like how diverse his Portland neighborhood is. He has a lot of friends and people who look up to him, it seems, and people he can talk with, and he gives that all up And he finds out at the end that it wasn't worth it.
Very silly premise here. We talked about it earlier, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that Megatron can just be jostled into a subservient mode.
What?
And then easily jostled back, but it provides a fun issue, and I like that Megatron gets this one little quirky human interaction issue. Although it is mostly, which I don't mind at all, it's more an arc for our one-off human character than it is for Megatron.
Yeah, because we don't get any character from him until the end. But he does have an interesting moment where he shows respect for the human character just because the human character was, what did he do?
He's willing to stand up to him.
Yeah. He doesn't cower away. He doesn't beg for his life. He's trying to stand up against Megatron, who by all accounts could easily squash him. So yeah, gains his respect. Also has a very scary mouth in one of the panels.
More scary Megatron mouths, and
Yeah.
that is a strange continuing theme with Megatron.
Don't love it. Yeah, but all around a good issue. I did enjoy it a lot. It was fun.
Yeah, I think my favorite of this mode of story in the series, and there will be many more to come, have more of a joint arc for both the Transformer and the human character.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I think this one is a lot of fun. It is an offbeat issue, and it's one that I think for me starts the second year of the book off on a really strong foot.
Agreed. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's all I have to say on these. Should we do some quick predictions?
Sure. Okay, my first prediction coming off of the Megatron issue is that the fact that Shockwave is now out of the way, Megatron will come back and be able to kind of step back into power. Whether or not that'll be easy, or if you'll have to fight Starscream and other Decepticons to do that, don't know yet. Also, the Decepticons are kind of out of commission at the moment. So anyway, my prediction from that is that Megatron will come back as the leader. I have a prediction... Let's see, what else?
We should clarify that Shockwave is very pointedly not dead.
He's not dead.
Yeah.
He's not dead, but he is in a swamp.
Yes.
So I have a feeling that Megatron's going to try to worm his way back in. Although you did tell me that he doesn't come back as the leader for some time. Oh well, that's my prediction. And what else? I don't know because
well, it's a clean slate at this point, pretty much. It's the first time it's been a pretty clean slate.
Yeah. I have a prediction that we'll see Circuit Breaker again at some point, maybe not soon, but she'll be back in some capacity, and maybe that we'll have other superhero type people showing up, not just regular people, but also superhero type guys coming in.
Okay. Well, as will be annual tradition, and this isn't really a spoiler, it's just how the book works. We're now heading into its second year, so that means a whole crop of new Toyline characters to be spotlit. So basically every year on the book, we're going to get a whole heap of new characters.
I can't even remember the Autobots now.
Here's the thing. It doesn't matter. Everyone will be slightly better drawn, I think, in this next.
That's good. That'll help. Okay.
Yeah, for me, there's an immediate shift. But before that, we're going to jump back over to the UK and do some sort of end of year one, last sort of bit with the original cast stories. So next time we'll tackle the Christmas one-off, Crisis of Command and Dinobot Hunt, I believe. And at some point, I think we'll just group the first two annuals together because there's not a lot of meat doing just one on its own, and it's quite long.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll pop back over to the UK and round out the first more or less year of the book, and then head into the full sort of 1985 season back in the US book after that.
Sounds good.
All right. Do you want to play us out?
It's your turn.
With that, it's time to roll out.